Does he truly love you? Or are you just a convenient option he doesn't want to lose? This question breaks hearts every day, but the real tragedy? Most people don't realize the truth until it's too late. Because real love? It's not in what he says. It's hidden in how he acts when no one's watching. In today's video, sparked by a rare, powerful message from Keanu Reeves, you're going to discover how to decode a man's love through his eyes, his patterns, and the tiniest things he doesn't even know he's doing. And here's the part that might shake you. By the end of this video, you may realize the man you love has never actually loved you the way you thought. Don't miss a second, because what you're about to learn could change how you see love and how you see yourself forever. A man who truly loves you will protect you. And I don't mean in the way society often misinterprets, through excessive sheltering, outdated chivalry, or controlling behavior. No, I'm talking about something far more nuanced, something deeply rooted in human instinct, biology, psychology. The way a man expresses his most profound love, sometimes without even realizing it. This kind of protection goes far beyond physical safety. It's something much deeper. When a man loves you, he sees you as an integral part of his life. Someone he feels responsible for, even if he never explicitly says it. If you could peer into his mind, you would see that he has begun to weave you into his identity, his future, his purpose. And when that happens, a fundamental shift occurs. His actions, big or small, will reflect this transformation. You'll notice it in the way he cares for you, not in a controlling manner, but in a way that reassures you that you're not alone in this world. He will instinctively walk on the side of the road closer to traffic, positioning himself between you and any potential danger. He will recognize when you're exhausted and tell you to sit down while he takes care of things. Whether it's washing the dishes or handling something far more significant, he will always want to ensure you get home safely. Not because he doubts your ability to take care of yourself, but because deep down, he needs to know you're okay. And this is a crucial distinction. In modern relationships, we often hear that women don't need men to take care of them. That's true, but it overlooks something fundamental. A man who loves you doesn't take care of you because he thinks you need him. He does it because that's how he expresses love. It's how he feels love, how he communicates love. And if you refuse to let him play that role, it's as if you're stripping away a primal instinct that helps him bond with you. What's fascinating is that this behavior is biologically driven. Studies on male attachment show that when a man is in love, his brain chemistry shifts. His oxytocin levels, the bonding hormone, increase. His testosterone levels also adjust, making him more protective of you. His stress response changes. He starts reacting more intensely to threats against you than to threats against himself. It's instinctive. It's natural. And it's not something he consciously decides to do. He just does it. Interesting, isn't it? He may not even realize he's doing it. Men aren't often taught to recognize the emotional nuances behind their own behaviors. So when he insists on checking your car before you drive off, when he double-checks the locks at night, or when his expression hardens the moment someone disrespects you, he may not be fully aware of why, but you will see it. You will feel it. And this protective instinct isn't just about physical safety. A man who truly loves you will protect you emotionally as well. He will not be careless with your feelings. He will not allow others to diminish you, nor will he stand idly by when you are disrespected. To him, you are not just important. You are a precious part of his life, and that deserves to be honored. More importantly, he will protect the relationship itself. A man who genuinely loves you understands that love is not weakness, but it does require care. And he will be intentional about safeguarding what you have built together. He will not let negativity seep in between you. He will not allow ego, resentment, or negligence to destroy something so valuable. Whether in silence or in action, he will always ensure that both of you feel safe, valued, and respected. But there is something even more crucial. A man who truly protects you doesn't just do it when you're around. He will stand up for you even in your absence. He will defend your name, even when there is nothing for him to gain. Accept the knowledge that he is honoring you, even when you're not there to see it. And that is rare. A man who truly loves you will also protect you from himself. This is what separates a genuinely good man from one who simply means well. He is aware of his flaws, his shortcomings, even his potential to fail. And instead of making excuses, he actively works against them. He will not let his worst moments become your pain. He will not let his frustrations turn into cruelty. He will not use love as a weapon to manipulate or control you. And when he makes mistakes, because he inevitably will, he will recognize them, take responsibility, and make things right. This is something often overlooked in modern relationships. We talk about love in terms of passion, compatibility, and fleeting highs. But real love, deep, enduring love, is most often revealed through protection. It is the willingness to put someone else's well-being ahead of your own. Not because it is required, not because society expects it, but because something inside him compels him to do so. Because your happiness is his happiness. Because his instincts tell him that if you are safe, only then can he truly be at peace. And that is love, the kind that withstands the test of time. Because let's be honest, passion and attraction can change. Life will always bring storms that challenge every relationship. But if you have a man who sees your peace as his responsibility, who acts on it not out of obligation, but out of genuine love, then you have something rare. Something that isn't easily shaken. Something that goes beyond fleeting romance and reaches the core of a true relationship. So if you ever wonder whether a man truly loves you, don't just listen to what he says. Look at what he does. Does he protect you? Not just with grand gestures, but in the quiet, unnoticed moments. The ones that seem small yet speak volumes. Does he shield you from unnecessary stress? From disrespect? Does he make you feel safe? Not just physically, but emotionally. Because if he does, then you are not just loved. You are cherished. And when a man truly loves you, he listens. He doesn't just listen with his ears. He listens with his soul. And that is something that cannot be faked, imitated, or sustained unless it is real. Because true listening requires effort. It demands presence. And presence is one of the most precious things a person can give. Yet, this is something so many misunderstand. They think hearing and listening are the same. But they are not. A man can hear every word you say, and still not truly listen. He can nod, say, even repeat back your words, but that doesn't mean he understands or even cares. That is not listening. That is passive reception. And that means nothing. But a man who truly loves you listens beyond words. He doesn't just hear what you say. He understands what you mean. He senses what you leave unsaid. The silences, the hesitations, the subtle shifts in your tone. He notices when you're struggling, even when you say you're fine. He remembers the things that matter to you, not because he tries to, but because he cares enough for them to stay with him naturally. And why does this matter? Because listening is the foundation of connection. It is what turns two strangers into kindred souls. When a man listens to you in this way, it means he doesn't just see you as someone to pass time with, or as an object of attraction, but as a whole person. With depth, with complexities, with a mind and a soul worth knowing. And men do not listen to just anyone in this way. This only happens when he is emotionally invested, when he lets you pass the walls he keeps up with the rest of the world. Because men, real men, do not open up easily. By instinct and by societal conditioning, they are taught to be problem solvers, fixers. And what does a fixer do? He waits for a problem, identifies it, and tries to solve it as quickly and efficiently as possible. But love is not a problem to be solved. Love is not about fixing something and checking it off a list. Love is presence. It is understanding and being understood. And when a man loves you, he doesn't just try to solve your problems. He wants to understand them, sit with them, experience them with you. Because to him, your world, your joys, your sorrows, your fears, your thoughts, becomes his world too. This is rare because most people, men and women alike, are simply waiting for their turn to speak. Most conversations are not about connection, but about performance. People talk over each other, interrupt, and steer the conversation back to themselves. They listen just enough to reply, but not enough to understand. And the result? Most people go through life feeling unseen, even in their closest relationships. But when a man truly listens to you, you will feel it. It shows in his eyes. Focused, undistracted, not glancing at his phone or scanning the room, but locked onto you. It shows in the way he asks questions. Not just polite ones, but ones that matter. Questions that prove he has thought about what you said, long after the conversation ended. It shows in the way he recalls something you mentioned weeks ago, proving that your words didn't just disappear into thin air, but stayed with him because they mattered to him. And this is not just a small part of love. This is everything. If a man doesn't truly listen to you, how can he truly love you? Because love is not just a fleeting feeling. It is action. It is attention. It is investment. It is effort. And this is the most beautiful part. When a man truly listens to you, he changes. That kind of listening is not just an act of receiving. It is a process of transformation. It forces him to see the world differently, to step outside his own perspective, to understand things he never noticed before. And in that understanding, he grows. Because true growth, the kind that turns an ordinary man into a better version of himself, doesn't come from isolation. It comes from connection, from listening, from allowing another person to impact him in a way that makes him better. So what does it mean when a man listens to you like this? It means you matter to him. It means your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences are not just background noise, but something of real significance to him. It means he doesn't just hear your words. He feels your presence in his life. But there is one truth you must understand. This kind of listening cannot be forced. No one can demand or command a man to listen. He either wants to or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, then no amount of pleading, pushing, or convincing will change that. Because listening is not an obligation. It is a choice. A man who loves you will listen not because he feels he has to, but because he longs to. Because he wants to know who you are, to see you in a way no one else does. That is the essence of true love. It is not grand declarations, nor sweet words, nor even the intoxicating rush of fleeting passion. True love is when a man sits before you, looks deep into your eyes, listens not just to your voice but to your soul, and without uttering a single word, you can feel it. He sees you. He hears you. You matter to him. A man who truly loves you will respect you in a way that is both ingrained in his nature and evident in the smallest, most sincere actions. And respect, genuine, unwavering, and unshakable respect, is not something that can be faked, forced, or bargained for. It either exists or it doesn't. It is built from admiration, from the recognition of one's worth, from an understanding, whether conscious or subconscious, that the other person deserves care, honesty, and commitment. This is why so many relationships fall apart, because you cannot truly love someone you do not respect, at least not in a lasting way, not in a healthy way, and certainly not in a way that fosters growth for both. If a man does not respect you, then whatever feelings he has for you are not love. They may be possessiveness, dependency, or convenience, but they are not in love. Respect is not just politeness. It is not about saying the right words or behaving properly to maintain appearances. It is about how he sees you when no one else is watching. It is reflected in whether he values your thoughts, opinions, and choices, not just when they align with him, but especially when they challenge him. It is in whether he sees you as an equal, a person with a voice that matters, a presence that is not to be diminished or molded to fit his world. And you can feel it, can't you? Whether a man respects you. You don't have to guess. You can hear it in the way he speaks to you. Does he talk with you or with you? When you disagree, does he truly listen, or does he dismiss your thoughts the moment they don't align with his? When decisions need to be made, does he discuss them with you, or does he simply decide for you? These small moments are the clearest reflection of who he truly is. They reveal whether he sees you as a partner or merely an extension of his own existence. And here's what many people overlook. Respect does not mean always agreeing. A man who respects you is not someone who nods along to everything you say, who avoids conflict just to keep the peace. No, true respect means he can disagree with you while still honoring your worth. It means he doesn't mock you, belittle you, roll his eyes in disdain, or dismiss your words simply because he doesn't like hearing them. Love cannot exist without respect, and a man who truly loves you will respect you in the deepest way. Not just in words, but in actions, in choices, in the moments when no one else is watching. That means he sees you as an independent being, with your own thoughts, experiences, and wisdom. Even when your views differ, he is secure enough to listen, to acknowledge the validity of another perspective, rather than feeling the need to crush it to protect his own ego. And that is rare, because most people, men and women alike, struggle to respect those who challenge them. It is easier to surround oneself with people who always agree, who never question, who never force one to re-examine their beliefs. But love, real, solid, enduring love, demands more. A man who truly respects you will never diminish you just to make himself feel greater. He will not use strength, whether physical, emotional, or intellectual, to overpower you. He will not cut you down with sarcasm, with indifference, with seemingly harmless jokes laced with cruelty. He will not humiliate you in front of others, nor quietly erode your confidence in private conversations. He will not make you feel foolish for having emotions, nor dismiss your pain by telling you it's all in your head. And if he does, if even once he disregards your pain without reflection, without correction, without care, then that is not love. That is control. A man who truly loves you will respect your time, your energy, your dignity. He will not make promises he has no intention of keeping. He will not string you along with scraps of affection, just enough to keep you tethered, while he indulges his own selfish whims. He will not disappear when things get hard, only to reappear when it's convenient for him. He will not expect you to be the only one who compromises, the only one who sacrifices, the only one who bends, while he remains unmoving. And most importantly, a man who truly respects you will respect your boundaries. This is where so many people get lost. So many women, especially those who love deeply, exhaust themselves in cycles of disappointment because they believe that if they just explain enough, if they just endure enough, if they just give enough grace, then one day he will understand. But love does not work that way. Respect is not something earned through suffering. It is not a reward for patience, nor proof of endurance. Respect must exist from the beginning, a fundamental presence, not a condition to be negotiated. When a man truly respects you, he does not cross the boundaries you set. He does not try to bend your principles to suit his desires. He does not dismiss your needs, does not treat your emotions as trivial, does not test your limits just to see how much you will tolerate before breaking. He honors the limits you establish because he understands that your boundaries are not punishments. They are the means by which you protect yourself. And a man who truly loves you will want you to be safe, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and in every part of your soul. Respect, at its core, is the acknowledgement that you are not merely an extension of him. Your life, your decisions, your dreams, and your emotions all hold value. They matter just as much as his. And when a man truly understands this, not just in thought, but in every small action he takes daily, only then can love truly exist. A man who genuinely loves you will protect you, not just with his hands, but with his heart, his mind, and his maturity. And this has nothing to do with control. It is not about imposing his will. It is not about sheltering you to the point of making you weak, as if you need to be rescued. No, true protection runs far deeper than that. It is about a man who understands that love is not just about receiving. It is about giving. A man who loves you will not only think of himself, but of you, of the relationship, of the space you both share in this world. He will not just seek what love can offer him. He will also reflect on his own responsibility within that love. Because this is the deepest instinct of a man. Men are born to protect. This is not just a societal construct. It is something deeply embedded in their biological nature, ingrained in their instincts through generations. When a man loves a woman, something within him is triggered, a powerful, almost primal drive to ensure her well-being. But that does not mean he fights every battle for her. It does not mean he sees her as fragile or incapable. It does not mean he intervenes in everything, even when unnecessary. No, true love is not control, nor is it imprisonment disguised as protection. It is simply caring enough to ensure that she is safe. A man who loves you will be attuned to your needs. He will not turn his back when you struggle. He will not leave you alone in your weakest moments. And that is what sets apart a man who truly loves you from a man who is merely present. Because a man who loves you will not let you face the world alone when life gets harsh. He will not stand by in silence while you bear the weight of everything. He will step up. He will show up. And his presence, genuine, unwavering, immovable, is the strongest form of protection. You will see it in his actions. You will feel it in the way he stands by you when others try to bring you down, in the way he notices when you are exhausted, when you are struggling, when you are carrying too much. You will recognize it not just in his words, but in his choices, in his priorities, in the way he builds his life to ensure that you always have a place in it. But there is one thing many often overlook. Protection is not just about standing against the world to shield you. It is also about protecting you from himself. And that is not easy, because real love requires honesty, and honesty forces a person to confront their own darkness. Every man, just like every human being, has the capacity to hurt others. Sometimes it is an unintentional word, a moment of anger, a selfish choice made without realizing its impact. But a man who truly loves you will have the courage to look inward, to acknowledge his flaws, to make sure that love does not become a place of pain, but rather a refuge where you feel safest even in your most vulnerable moments. And a man who loves you will understand this. He knows that his strength, whether physical, emotional, or simply the power he holds in the relationship, comes with responsibility. So what does he do? He ensures that he is never the reason for your pain. He watches himself. He controls his impulses. He does not lash out in anger. He does not use words as weapons. He does not manipulate. He does not diminish you just to feel more powerful. And if there ever comes a time, because no one is perfect, when he does hurt you, he will not run from it. He will face it, he will acknowledge it, and he will make it right. But this is rare because many do not dare to look at themselves honestly. They avoid it. They refuse to see how their actions affect those around them. They make excuses. They justify. They shift blame. But a man who truly loves you will not do that, because his love is not just about himself. It is about you. It is about making sure that you do not suffer because of his shortcomings. And protection, true protection, goes even deeper than that, because protection is not just about keeping you from harm. It is about shielding you from fear. It means creating an environment where you feel safe, where you do not live in constant anxiety, where you do not have to question his intentions, where you never have to wonder if he will change, if he will leave, if he will betray your trust. A man who loves you will never leave you questioning those things. It means consistency. It means showing up, time and time again, until there is no doubt in your mind that he will not walk away. Because love is not just passion. It is not just a fleeting romance. It is not just grand gestures or sweet promises. Love is the quiet certainty of knowing you are with someone who will never let you fall. That no matter what happens, no matter how harsh life becomes, no matter how many times you stumble or how imperfect you are, he will be there. Not out of obligation, not because he is bound, but because he chooses to be. Because protecting you in every sense of the word, is something he values. And that is real love. Not words, not promises, not moments that burn bright and fade away, but protection. A protection that does not need to be spoken, yet can be felt in every way he treats you, every single day. Protection is built on trust, care, and an unwavering commitment that you will always be okay. Now ask yourself, have you ever truly experienced this in a relationship? Or have you seen the opposite? When someone's words and actions don't align, does your partner show these signs? Does he make you feel safe, respected, and loved through his actions, not just his words? If yes, you're blessed with a rare kind of relationship, one that many only dream of. But if not, don't lose hope. Love is a journey, and growth begins with honesty. Let this message, inspired by Keanu Reeves, be your motivation to reflect, to speak up, and to choose what your heart truly deserves. If today's video spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. Comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more raw, real lessons on love.